Yo, what's good? You Sparrow in the building. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Kueen Talk. For those of you that are new, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like button, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this episode. Today's special guest, you can catch her on social media as Lauda Chaparrita. Hey,
Hey, what's up?
how you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm all right. How you
Oh,
doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Um, Glad to have you on the podcast. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
I
Thank you for
for,
having me.
yeah. Will you introduce the guests? Introduce yourself to
Yeah,
the
I'm
audience.
I'm Laura Chavira. I was from Mexico originally, but raised in Kansas City. Um, I don't know if I want to share my age.
Hey, I
I
ain't
guess
mad at you. I ain't mad at you. You ain't got
I
to if
guess
you
I
don't
can.
want to.
I'm older than I look, so I like people thinking that I'm still young.
Hey, age ain't nothing but a number.
Right, right. Guess I'm 35. I'll go ahead and throw that out there then. And
Okay,
you're
that
like,
ain't
oh
even
wow,
bad. No, I'm 32. I mean,
okay,
yeah,
well, same age range.
we grown. We grown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grown folk talk right here.
Yeah, I feel like once I hit my 30s, it just felt different. Like
For sure,
I definitely
it
had
does.
a it was like I get it when it's like okay, you're grown now cuz like the adult things like really start to hit you.
Yeah,
And I don't know
for
about you, but like in my 20s, I was like wilding. So in my 30s is when I was like get it together. Like grow up.
yeah. I I still I definitely feel more grown. Oh, I didn't say my pronouns. I'm she her, but I mean they is okay too because I know I got a little masculine energy in me, so it doesn't offend me if anyone,
Yeah.
refers to me as they. But she, her is usually my preferred. But yeah, like definitely you go through a lot of changes after your 20s. I feel like 20s is cool to experiment and wild out, like you said.
And well, let's get into because in your 20s, I feel like your lifestyle was a little different. Is that when you served in the military?
No, I served young. I did one service term, and so by the time I was like 21, I was done. So
Oh,
yeah,
so geez,
I
really
served.
young.
Yeah, I served during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So
That
that was interesting.
yeah. Wait. So how old were you when you entered the military?
I was like 18.
18. Okay, so you right out of high school, you went straight to the military. What made you choose the military right out of high school?
Honestly, it kind of like straightened me out a little bit because I was like, I started smoking weed, it started acting out, and I was like, I started dating women since I was in high school, and my first
Okay.
relationship was like a failed one, and it was toxic, and then so I became like reckless. Started smoking weed after that, and skipping school a lot, and actually, like my first girlfriend used to get army stuff all the time in the mail and stuff, right? Like lanyards and hats and t-shirts and backpacks and cool stuff. So literally one night I used to go to like street races and one night after some street races we were at my friend's house and I was on his computer watching videos and stuff and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna enlist in the army stuff so I can get stuff too. Nah, a recruiter came to my house.
Wait, right when you filled out the form and then a recruiter came to your house?
Yeah, not like instantly, but it was like, a couple weeks later go by. And
Yeah.
actually, I was upstairs getting high with my friends and stuff. And my sister's panicked as can be. And she's like, Laura, there's an army person here. And I'm like, an army person? What? Oh my God. We're like all high. We're like, dude, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. And we're like freaking out. We're like, oh. And then like I go down there and I'm like, can I help you? And then he's like, are you Laura? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you requested information on the army. And I was like, I wanted a letter, a pen. So I was like, that's
They
the
pulled
times,
up
girl.
on you. They pulled up on you.
And so, like, honestly, actually, what really happened at that moment was like, I told the recruiter, I was like, you know what? I'm supposed to be a senior, and I don't even got like 20 credits. So I'm supposed to have 33 to graduate. He was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, that's nothing. We ain't worried about that. We take care of the school stuff." I was like, "Okay, you sound confident." And then I was like, he was like, I got a laptop in my car with the test in it. You willing to take it?" And I was like, "Look, let's do something." I was like, "We're not going to waste each other's time. So let's do something." I was like, "Bring that test and I'll take it. And if I do well, I'll join the army. But if I don't, then it's not for me." And he was like, "Bet." And
S-
I
s-
joined.
So he pulled out the test right then and there.
He went and grabbed his laptop from his car, and I did it in my living room, my mom's house,
Dang.
with my friends high upstairs, panicked.
Right. Wow. Wow. And so obviously you passed the test and then you just joined. That's how quick. Dang, he said, we about to get you right now. You
He's like,
didn't waste.
"Desperate times, girl."
Right. And you didn't look back.
Yeah,
And so you said, so you joined the military and what was that experience like? You said you were in the don't ask, don't tell era. What was it
yeah.
like?
That it was so. When I left, I was dating a girl, and I actually ended up like breaking up
Mhm.
with her after basic training, and I stayed single until I didn't have another girlfriend until like 2011, and that was like in 2007. So like, I stayed single for a while. It was honestly, it was scary because I did have a when we were in AIT, which is like your training, like your class.
Mhm.
I had this friend that I was really really close to, and you that person was obviously gay because she was this like stud, big, tall black girl, like tall, like 6 foot tall. I'm 5 foot tall, and so we were like really really close, and we were in the East Coast, and she was from DC, so we would hang out a lot. And she was she got in my bed one night, and nothing ever happened with us ever. It was always like a very like platonic friendship. It truly was. And but she got in my bed one night, and I told her, "If you get in my bed, make sure we're head to feet." I told her, like, and I knocked out, and she ended up, we were misbehaving drink, so she was drunk. So, like, she ended up getting in my bed, and then they found us spooning. And so, like, then we got threatened with, like, getting chaptered out. And, like, it was very scary, truthfully. Like, we were, like, panicked. I remember it was around the holidays, and we were going to go to visit our families for Thanksgiving. And they ended up saying, like, "No, y'all can't visit your families. You might get kicked out of the military." Like, and we're like,
Wow.
we're not even anything, like, and we're both
Yeah.
like, "Damn, bro, we should have done something in that case." But like, we were just always like homies, so we were like, "What the
Yeah.
hell?" And it was just like, and it's so crazy because I don't know what all happened, but I swear I'm not even kidding you when I tell you our company commander was this white person, right? And so like, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden this stud person became our new company commander, and she was like, "Don't worry about it." And we were like,
Uh,
"What?" She's like, "Don't worry about it." We were like, "Oh," like,
oh,
we were under investigation, and then all of a sudden it was like, "Don't worry about it. Y'all good. Don't worry about it. Like, go about your
oh,
business." And we are like, "What?" And then she's like, "Y'all need a pass for the weekend because y'all been through a lot of stressful moments." And we were like, "What?" Yeah.
jeez. Well, I'm glad that was your experience. Like the investigation wasn't like too investigated, and you were able to get through that.
I was
Jeez.
like, man, how I was like, did they call in reinforcements? Like, hey, bring that stud company commander in.
Right, because I mean, like, I've had a guest on here previously, and she's older, so she was also in the military, and like her experience, she said, was also scary, like with the interrogation portion of it. So I'm like curious, like with you, like when they brought you in there, and you had to face uh the officer, your boss, in that. What was that situation like?
Scary, honestly. And I was a little mad at my friend because I was like, bro, I told you this. And then like the sergeant that caught us, he was doing bed check. And it was honestly kind of frustrating because he was doing bed check, and he like tapped us with he like flashed us with his flashlight, and then he like hits the bed, and he's like, "Y'all need to get dressed and get out of bed." And we're like, "We're dressed. What do you mean?" Like, he's making it seem like he caught us, you know what I'm saying? And we're
Yeah.
like, "What? We're dressed. Like, ain't nothing's going on here." And also we were like freaking out, honestly. And like I said, I had plane tickets already to come to Kansas City to visit. So like, they were like, you ain't going to Kansas City to visit. Like, you might get kicked out. And I'm like, how am I going to tell? Like, what am I going to tell my family? Like, what am I going to, I
What
was
did
like
you tell
freaking
them?
out.
What did
I
you
don't
tell them?
even, I truly don't remember, but I know that like I ended up talking to my best friend and he drove my other best friends all the like 20 something hours to go see me because
Aw.
like they were like, we're not going to leave you alone through this, because they ended up like giving me a weekend pass. They were like, um, you'll be able to stay here in the barracks. You can't leave, but like you can stay in town, I guess, or something like that. And so no, they were like, at first they were like, stay in the barracks because you're under investigation, and then they ended up saying, okay, you can have like a weekend pass where you can be like within. I don't remember the miles, but it was like within like 50 miles of the base or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I ended up like getting a hotel outside of the base, and my best friends drove out there and we hung out.
That's dope that they came and supported you like that.
Yes,
Those are some real friends. Like
yes,
I know that like cuz that is like to be alone in that it's the holidays like
yes.
and how long were you away from your family? Like how long did you serve in the military?
Just one service term.
One service.
So I was gone from like '07 to like, I didn't move back to Kansas City till 2011.
Okay, okay, you did say that. So 2011, that's when the don't ask don't tell thing like got lifted, right? It was like
Yeah, I got out in 2010. And so
oh,
like things changed right after, like I feel
y-
like right after I got out, things started
y-
to change.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
It's different.
yeah. Do you think like joining the military at that age, like it did what it needed to do for you though, even though you dealt with that situation, like discipline wise and your reasoning for joining?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it gave me like, I feel like I already had a really good work ethic because like my dad made me start working since I was really young. But just it did make me, like what I was telling you about, like have my bed made, just certain things that they engrave in you. There is a lot of like toxic stuff too that comes from being in the military that I feel like I had to like break myself from as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good experience for sure. Just the people you meet, like I'm a chatter, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I talk to people, so like um, you get to meet people from all over. I was deployed to the Middle East, so just like being in the Middle East, like a lot of the local people thought that I was Middle Eastern, like because
Yeah.
I guess like sometimes I don't know, some people could think that I'm a different nationality or race or whatever. So like I definitely had a lot of them thinking that I was from that part of the world.
Yeah. That's yeah. What advice would you give someone young? Because they're still very much like in the schools, like recruiting wise, like um the ROTC. Like, what would you tell someone or advice like if they're so young and wanting to join the military the way
Ooh,
that you did? Like you joined, like they literally you signed up. They gave their
yeah.
2 weeks, and like I feel like it just like, happened so fast, but you didn't even like have a chance to like change your mind.
Well, it was because I honored my word too. I feel like because I did do the delayed entry program because they had to like help me get my school stuff done. But I did like already say like I'm gonna do it, and I just went through with it with my recruiter, because we did
Mhm.
the test. That was like a practice hazmat test that he
Mhm.
had on his computer. But I will say like there's more options out there, and it is tough if you're a person of color or if you're a queer person. There are a lot of like difficult things being that in the military. And I mean, I would imagine that it's changed a lot nowadays, but just hearing other stories from people who were a little bit older and experienced things, both men and women, a lot of stuff was almost like hate crimes that, people got away with doing to people in the military. So
Mhm.
again, I know times have changed. Um, so I wouldn't want to knock anyone, but I would say like there are options out there. Like if you're trying to go to the military for school, I would say like also make sure you're applying for scholarships and stuff like that, you
Yeah.
know, versus like doing it for the wrong reasons. There are benefits for sure, and it does like the morals and values. It does
Mhm.
teach you a lot.
Do you still get
Um,
benefits now? Now that you're done since 2011, do you still?
Yeah, I actually have to go to the VA, but usually that's where I go if I need anything like health wise.
Okay, okay, so just like health wise. All right.
I will go to the VA hospital. I honestly, so I missed another cutoff. There, like for my school, I never used it, which is crazy because like when you join, you have to like pay to have to like you have to pay, and it's not much, but you pay like $100 a month for a year to get like money for school. And I did that, and I never used my money. And now there's no limit. You can wait 10, 15, 20 years and use your money for school. And, they pay you to go to school and they pay for your school. But I only did like a semester and then I never tried to go back to school, which
Okay.
that's like was very dumb on my end for sure.
Uh, yeah, just not getting the benefits of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, well, what's life like now? What are you doing, KC?
Mm, ooh. So I am going through a divorce
Okay, yeah,
and
that's
yeah, and it's fine except for the fact that like what I'm doing because I work at a casino. I'm a slot technician, and
okay.
I was a mechanic in the army, and I've done automotive jobs. Like I've worked in parts and sales and stuff for many many years, and I love it because I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to cars and car parts. And I do like my own, like if I don't need like a lift or anything like that, like if it's brakes, oil changes, spark plugs, coils, like simple stuff, I'll do all of that on my cars.
Hey, I know they're loving you right now. They like, yo, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not me. That's not me. I'm taking my shit to the shop. Anything, an oil change shop. I would take my shit to the shop if the air the tire if I needed to, if I could. But Quick Trip's free, so we go
Yeah.
there. But yeah, anything else shop. That's not me. I'm not like I realized that recently because my partner was wanting house stuff done. Right, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it, and I did one portion of it, and I don't I was like, this ain't for me, this ain't for me. Like, I was hot, sweating, dirty, and I'm just like, the job got done, but it was total 24 hours of work that someone else could have done, and I'll just pay it, like, because time is money too. Like, I'm not getting
Yeah.
paid to do this, I'm just getting the fulfillment of her just being happy, which I could do that with someone else doing it. Like, she's still gonna be happy with someone else paying for it. But yeah, nah, good for you though, like, to be able to be that handy though.
Thank
Go on
you.
with your handy
I,
self, go ahead.
I love it. I love working with my hands. I love like tinkering with things. Um, as a slot technician, like I wish I did more like hands-on and repairing stuff. I work graves, so it's my schedule's really hard. And I only got this job because of my ex, because she works at the casino that I work at. And so um, I got the job
Awkward.
in a few months. Yes, I got the job, and a few months later, like we decided to get this divorce. And, a few months later, she lets me know that she's been dating someone that she works with. So now I'm like, I'm working in the same place as my ex and her new person. And I'm just like,
Damn.
this is fun. But I also like I'm barely gonna hit my year mark like next week, I think, at this
Mm,
place. So I didn't want to leave without at least like doing a full year here, and
hmm.
giving this a full chance and opportunity, like to see
Do you
if
love
I
it?
can learn and grow. I miss the automotive industry,
Okay.
truthfully.
Yeah. I
I
was gonna
miss the automotive
say,
industry.
don't leave it if you love it.
No, I
But
miss the automotive industry.
yeah,
I've never set foot into that casino until she started working there, and
yeah,
it was just like a couple times like I took her something, and then like I never stepped foot in the actual casino floor until I started to work there. And I'm in my
yeah,
30s, well into my 30s. I'm not a gambler, I'm not a casino goer, so like
yeah.
that environment isn't fulfilling to me. It's kind of like toxic,
It
because we're like
really
feeding in.
is.
Yeah, so
Got them chain smokers just smelling like a damn pack after you leave.
yes.
I don't like the casino either. I do not like it. A couple of my friends, they want to go there, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna spend this amount of money, and then you catch them at the ATM, and then another 2 hours go by, catch them at the ATM again. I'm like, this is why I don't do this. Like this
Yeah.
is not. I've just never been like the gambler type. Um, I wouldn't say that because I'll gamble my money elsewhere, but not just like the casino, like an investment, something trying to test some things out. But as far as
Yeah.
casino, no,
Yeah,
no.
casinos have never been my thing. Like I thought I would like it more because like I said like I heard the name technician in the job and I was like, ooh, yeah. But it's not it's really not what I thought it would be. And
Yeah.
it's very physical too, because like I said, I'm 5 foot tall and we move these machines and like so I'm moving like 7 foot 500 pound machines with the furniture dolly. And I'm
Jeez.
moving them, I'm hauling them, you know.
Damn, nah. I would definitely get back to the mechanic work too. Shit.
Yeah. And
What?
I don't even oh
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't want to even be a mechanic anymore because I did want that for a while, but there is like a lot of like having to prove yourself when you're a woman and you're a gay immigrant woman trying to be in a white man's type of they're dominant in this industry. So
Hmm.
trying to go up against them, like I dealt with a lot of hate for no reason, just for being who I am or for being knowledgeable. They would get like envious or hateful. So like it's real tricky being in that industry as well. Like I feel like if I would go back, it would try to be like at a dealership or something, like selling parts or ordering parts or a service manager, or like in
Yeah.
service or something like that, versus
Yeah.
like trying to turn wrenches. Um,
Have you ever thought like people would like to go get their car fixed by someone who looks like them? So have you ever thought of like starting your own, doing your own thing?
yeah, I have. I have actually. A lot. I don't know because it does like take a lot also to like start your own business. And like I said,
Oh yeah.
it's it's not an easy business. Tools aren't cheap. Like I met a mechanic one year that spent like, you know, tens of thousands just keeping his
Yeah.
business alive because
Hmm.
he was sick and he still
Yeah.
was buying tools and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Definitely.
no,
Do you feel like Kansas City though is pretty diverse? Like,
yeah, it's diverse.
yeah,
It is.
yeah. So, like, do you feel like you you connect with like identity wise with like a lot of people down there?
Yeah, no, yeah, Kansas City is diverse for sure. I had more of my bad experiences when it comes to like auto parts and stuff when I
Hmm.
was in Texas because that's where my ex is from.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
And that's where like I felt like a lot of like it tore me down a lot.
Hmm. Since you were in the military and you did that, do you like already have like a certification now? Did like they give you something like you walk out of there with this
Um,
mechanic or whatever
I have like
license?
certifications on certain stuff, like International made a vehicle for the military and we learned how to work on it. So I had like a certification for that. I worked on this other machine that they have like at the border, which like I have a certification for that. But as far as like going to a mechanic right now, it would really be more on myself. Like I would need to get an ASE certification, which I probably could do, truthfully. I
How do
don't know
you
why.
how do you do that? If someone was trying
It's
to
just
get it,
testing. It's
okay.
just like tests that you take, and you have to just pay for tests. But ASE is like the best way to like get your foot in the door when it comes to like being a tech or anything like that.
Oh, cool, cool. Well, it sounds like you haven't even tried in Kansas City.
No,
So
no.
I'm the person that's like, I'm gonna push you. Like, okay, I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna text you. So have you tried yet? Like, you saying it's pretty diverse in Kansas City, so it might look different for you. So give it a
Yeah,
shot. Give it a shot. Don't hold back,
yeah.
especially if like you think about it constantly. Like if you think about something every day. Like I no bullshit, no bullshit. This is a true story I'm about to tell you right now. And so I work a regular job, 8 to 3, and I've been off on the summertime. We just started back this week. So on Friday, I'm having to get ready for work, and I'm literally bawling my eyes out because I do not
Same.
want to go to this job. And I'm like, man, Kueen Talk. like this is my way. Like I'm really trying to like get this going and like make this my 9 to 5, 8 to 3, so I don't have to wake up. But I was
Yeah.
just like, I got to figure it out. Like I
Yeah.
know this is not what I want to do. I'm not trying to do this for the rest of my life. So
Yeah.
that day I'm just like, okay, what can I do more? How can I expand my, like, what do I got to do? And
Yeah.
so like if you think about this constantly and you're just like, let me get out of there, do it. Like figure it out for yourself for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I need to get out of there. And yeah, I know I do.
Hey.
I know you're right. And right
Yeah.
now, like I just, like I still need to get this like divorce done. And then like I also truthfully, like at the beginning of my divorce, I kind of like um well, I actually still financially helped my ex for a few months after I moved out of the house because I moved out almost instantly. And then, so like, she was kind of like, I'm going to be stuck in this big old house, whatever. So I kept like paying the rent and stuff like that for a few months. Um, but then after that, like, I kind of just started to like splurge a little bit, just kind of be
Hey.
like wild, like, and so like with Snow the product, like as soon as she went on tour, like I bought tickets to shows that I didn't even know how I was gonna have the time or anything. So I was like, I'm going to the LA show because I went last year and it was amazing. So I was like, and then like I'm going to the KC show, obviously, and then I was like, and I'm gonna do Chicago too because it's like close enough, and you know what I'm saying. So then I didn't even care like what days they landed on anything. Like I was just like, I'm doing this, that. And
That's
so then
dope.
but then it became a thing where I was like, okay, maybe I should hold on to this job until after I do all these flips. I didn't think.
Yeah. I don't blame you. That's dope that you did that. Like I'm gonna go see her, and checked out your socials. Like you got a picture with her and a few of the spots.
Yeah,
That's
I've seen
dope.
her a few times. I've met her a few times. I've seen her a few times. Um,
Yeah, you're a
with
fan. You're
Yeah, I love her. Well, like my thing with her is like, so I don't like when people are like, you're obsessed or you idolize her. I'm like, no, no. We need representation. She's a gay immigrant, woman who's in a male dominated industry. I
Mhm,
identify with all of those things. So I love her. I love her for the fact that, like, I don't know how much of her story you know, but she was like shelved with Atlantic Records.
mhm,
And once an artist gets shelved, for them to actually be able to make a name for themselves is very hard. And
mhm,
she's been doing it independently, and she's put on a lot of her people, and she's kept the same people that she like started on YouTube doing like a podcast type thing, or like they had
mhm,
woke TV back in the day. And so like she's kept like her people with her, and so I don't know, like honestly, truthfully, what happened was when COVID happened, I was like, oh my God, I never went to see Snow. I never showed any support for her. Now we're like locked down and I'm never going to see her. And you know what I mean? Like, I was like, man, I'm never going to meet her. I'm never going to see her. Dang it. And so, like, I was like, no. And so, whenever the world picked back up again after COVID, I was like, this is my chance. Like, you better get on that, girl. So, like,
yeah.
I started to like show up, like, show more support for her and stuff. So,
That's dope. And like you bring up a point, just like it's not that you're obsessed, but just like the power of representation.
yeah.
Like representation matters. Like when you feel like you're being seen, when you know it's not you, but you just like you identify with so many characteristics of
Mhm.
someone that you don't see often. So it's like definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand what you mean by that. And I actually did see her. I made it a point to like I went to the Wichita had like that fest like you're talking
Yeah.
about. You came to Wichita and seen her too. We probably
Yeah.
crossed paths, didn't even know it, but because that weekend was lit. Like that was so dope. Like
Yeah.
Wichita has never done that before, and
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, no, they that was the first time they had done that. Like and they needed that. The city needed that, and I hope they bring that back because that had never been done before. So that
Yeah,
was some KC shit. That was some KC shit done in
yeah,
Wichita.
that was awesome, honestly. And like, I was like, hold up, this is Wichita. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
brought people here like you in KC. Was that your
Mm,
first time in Wichita, or had you been here
yeah,
before?
no, I feel like I've maybe driven past it or something before
Yeah.
traveling, but I've never actually like been in Wichita. And like I was like, okay, Wichita, get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then like I went alone and like I remember the hotel I stayed at gave me 3 complimentary drinks. And so I luckily have not been drinking because I was out of control at the beginning of my divorce. But they gave me 3 complimentary drinks and like I was like, I saw the fest when I was driving to get myself a bottle. So I was like, so it's right up the street. So I walk, and then they're like, oh no, this is the free fest. You got VIP for the shows. And I was like, yeah, where's that? And they're like, about 5 blocks that way. And I was just like, oh, I was hot already. So I just walked all the way over there thinking I was going to the right area. And I guess they had like a free festival for like Wichita. And then they had like the other part of the festival where like you pay to get in and like they had all the artists performing and stuff. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
whoa.
because they had like five different stages, or it was like different venues, and then like the two big stages outside. Like it was
Yeah,
lit. Like
it
Wichita
was.
definitely put on.
It,
Hopefully they bring that back. Like I said, definitely got to.
I'm not gonna. If I drink, I'm just gonna have like a drink or two because I don't even know how I walk back to my hotel room after that. I was
Hey,
like, oh my gosh.
I feel you. I got pretty lit that weekend too. I did. It was good though. Like I had a great time. It
Yeah.
was a good time, and I've never been to a festival like that. Like in general, to where it's like, well, I take that back. I take that back. Not like that setting, but I did go to the Essence Fest, so that was lit. So let me not get twisted. But like outside and stuff, that was a different experience. So
I went to Sueños this year and I did not want to go,
what's
but
that?
Sueños, it's like a festival in Chicago. It's huge.
Okay.
And I was just trying to go to Chicago with my friend. She's someone I met through Snow. She's a very loyal Snow fan. And I met her last year in LA. And so I was like, fly into Kansas City and I'll drive you to Chicago to be with your family and I'll just spend the time out there. And she's like, okay, well, if you're going to be there with me, you're going to the festival with me. And I was like, no, absolutely not. That's too many people. It's whatever. And she's like, oh, you're coming. And I ended up going and it was great. I was like, this is awesome. And I
Yeah.
did not stop dancing and moving the whole time. I was just getting it. It was so
Yeah,
lit.
it is. And I like the Steve Aoki was over there too. I don't know if you experienced that. He was on one of the stages when at the fest. And
No,
like
I did
I'm not
not.
into that techno, but that night I was like, okay, okay. And then the bass was hitting. I was like, okay, this is why they love it. Okay, let's go. And I was just like
He had
getting
Snow
it.
on
Like
the on. Did you see Snow when he was on there? Because he had Snow with him like for a moment.
no, no. When
Hmm.
in Wichita, I caught like
Yeah.
the end of his show because I
Oh,
think
okay.
because Killer Mike was it was like so many things back to back. So I was like I
Sure.
caught a little bit of this one, then I had to like hurry up and go over here to get this one. But they had like Killer Mike and Steve Aoki all in like the same around the same time. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I
You're like,
did see
which one?
yeah. Snow had her own though stage, so I
Yeah.
did see her by
Yeah.
herself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah.
that was lit for sure. And then afterwards, like I had people on my TikTok and which even before like I had a couple people who were like, hey, Laura from TikTok, and I'm like, what the hell? What is, dude, this is crazy. And it was because of the I had done some challenge videos for Snow the product and they
Okay.
recognized me from it.
Uh,
So I was just like, whoa. And then one of the girls had a matching shirt as me and I was like, hold on. I had 2 Snow shirts on. I took off one of my t-shirts and I was like, we're twins now. And so like we were getting selfies and it was so lit. And then afterwards I had people on my TikTok like, hey girl, I was trying to get your attention. I was at the music festival behind you. Like I got
uh,
videos of you on my Snapchat, this and that. And
that's
I'm like, what?
dope. That's dope.
I
That's
was in my
dope.
own world though. I really
Yeah.
was.
Even you out here giving representation for other people. Like they see you out here. And you mentioned like TikTok and social media and stuff like that. Um when did you like start getting into it, like posting every day and constantly?
Um, so I started using TikTok at the end of 2019, but I wasn't using it like that. You know what I mean? Like I did like I actually did a Tech Nine and Snow song with Nave Manjo. Um, and so I did that. I just did a video to that song, and then I didn't post for a while, truthfully. And then like I would just start posting randomly, and then I had a football video that blew up, which I hated because I was just getting bullied over this video. And I was just like, oh gosh, of course. And and I don't even watch sports anymore, truthfully. I'm in Kansas
Because of the
City.
bully, because of the bullying in the video, or
No, I just because I almost felt like it started becoming my identity. Like
okay.
people would like if it would be my birthday or a holiday or anything, like all I would get was Kansas City Chiefs stuff. Like literally, like
What was the
you know, like
video?
okay, so whenever whenever the Chiefs and the Titans were going to play to go to the Super Bowl, I have a buddy who lived in Houston, and I was, like 30 miles north of Houston back then. He lived in Houston, and we were deployed together. We were overseas together, and he is a Titans fan, and so he was like, "Dude, come to a watch party with me. Like, we haven't kicked it in a while. Like, I'll go pick you up so you can drink, whatever. Like, come to this watch party." And then, like, literally, like the day before, or maybe it was the day of, he was like, "Oh, I didn't tell you it was a Titans watch party." So it's all Titans, Tennessee
Oh.
Titans, all of the whole bar, the whole everything. They had like a blow up Titan, like it was like everything was Titans, and I'm the only one wearing Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm like, "You set me up." And then I was just like, "What?" He's like, "I talked to the organizer. They're cool with you coming." And I'm like, but I feel weird. Like I'm
Right.
all Chiefs hat, like
Yeah.
jersey, like Chiefs, and everyone's wearing Titan stuff. And so I had my phone propped up, but like with my actual camera, not like my selfie camera, but my actual camera. I had it propped up recording. I probably had an hour of footage from that night because, like, just like everything that was going on, and people kept coming up to me, and they were like, I was getting bullied. Like, I would
Yeah.
have these big men who'd be like, "Tighten up," like and I'm just like, okay, like whatever. And then um, what had happened was there was a table next to me. I had my salute to service jersey and hat on. And so one of the table next to me, there was this guy that was like, "Hey, were you in the service?" And I was like, "Actually, yeah, I was." So we start talking, and his son was stationed in Leonard Wood, Missouri. And so he was like, "My son's stationed in Missouri, all this stuff." And so, anyways, we had talked. Well, whenever the Chiefs start winning, I start getting loud. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Payback." The whole bar, payback. And so I'm like, yeah. And then I remember at one point whenever like we started like, taking over, this big giant guy at the bar like gets up angry and he sees me and starts laughing and sits back down because I think he was gonna approach whoever was shouting for the Chiefs because he was
Yeah.
like, "This is a Titans watch party." So, like I'm just having a good time. We actually start winning then. And so the guy's like, "Hey, do the the tomahawk chop, whatever."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay." And so like he's like, "I'm gonna send it to my son." So I'm like, this guy's like next to me, but mind you, my phone is still recording me
Yeah.
on this angle. So I'm talking to this guy. I'm like, "I got you, I got you." You could even hear me say it in the video. And I'm like, "Oh," like doing this thing.
Yeah.
In the background, there is a little boy with his father sitting at a table, and the little boy's crying. And the dad's like, "Hey, stop. It's just a game." And he's just crying. So I'm all like, "Oh," and he's in the background just bawling.
Oh my gosh.
So my first clip was that little clip right there. I was like, "Guys, look at this." And then everyone thought it was hilarious. I post the
Yes.
video. I wake up, it has like 700,000 views. And I'm like, "Oh," and then a
Jeez.
bunch of hate comments. "You're a
Yeah.
bully. I hate people like you fucking bitch. You love making kids cry. Hell's got a special place for you." And I mean, it happened for months.
Oh
People would go
my
to my
gosh.
Instagram and message me and be like, "You're going to fucking hell," and this and that. And like, just mean and hateful. And I was just like, holy. And then the kids' parents ended up making TikToks, and they were like, hey guys, like we're his parents, it's fine. Like and the dad's like, hey, I was telling my son to stop crying because it's just a football game. Like it's cool, we're good. Like, and they're like, she didn't even know what was going on. Like it got out of control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just like the context. People don't even understand. Like, people just see the clip, one clip, and just automatically think they know what the hell's going on. Like,
Yes.
that's a prime example of it. But that shit is funny, and you knew what the hell you were doing, and that is freaking gold, though. That is funny. That is funny. And you guys won. You guys won that
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
so it made it even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Chiefs fan. Fuck the Chiefs. I'll say that on camera right now, but Raiders all day. Um
Yeah. No,
so but yeah, that is hilarious. That is hilarious.
yeah, it was
That's
quite,
good.
yeah.
But yeah, like the bullying though that comes with it, like once you do, like I've noticed like on anybody's viral video,
Mhm.
there's like people are just waiting to just hate on you. Like,
Yeah.
so now you say you don't watch sports and stuff like that. So like that took a toll on you. Like, how did you manage to get through all of that? Like all of the bullying stuff that you were dealing through at that time?
I turned off my comments on the video, and then I ended up just taking the video down, and it had like
Mhm.
1.7 or 1.5 million views by then. And I was just like, yeah, I can't handle this. And because people, like I said, people were going to the extent of finding me on Instagram to like private message me because the comments were off. So it was like constantly getting private messages on Instagram. And it was like, I'm a very, like, if you actually know me, I'm a very like empathetic person. I'm very sensitive. So it's like getting constant, like, I fucking hate you. You're a fucking bitch. You're a fucking bully. Hell has a special place for you. Like that, like really messed me up for a while. And my ex-wife would be like, you're over here crying over a 10-year-old boy that's probably at home messaging you right now. You need to like pull yourself together because you can't let these people get to you. If you want to keep making videos and stuff, you're going to have to know that there's going to be people who are going to be like hateful towards you just for who
Mhm.
you are. And then I had different people also like tell me like, dude, like you're good. Like, we know that's not who you are. And like, so you know what I mean? Like that kind of like helped me. I mean, I have a video right now that had got over 1 million views that um, I've been getting daily notifications on TikTok for, and I just recently replied to one of the comments just because like that day I was just like kind of like in my feels. But usually what I do is like I don't even reply. I'll just delete the notification from my. You know what I mean? That's how
Mhm.
like just delete it. Don't give it the energy. Don't give it the time because it is like what you said. Like I feel like there's a threshold once you like hit like 20,000 views, for example. Past that, people get ugly for some reason. It's like,
Mhm.
they automatically, no matter what the video is about,
No
it's like they
matter
have enough
what.
views.
It could be a animal and they like a picture of a dog and they're still just like upset, like just bitter.
Yes. So I've had a lot of that, and I've learned to just like ignore them to the point where like if I see if like on TikTok now you can like open and it's like all your comments. You can select to where like you don't even have to go to your video. You can see all the comments. So like I'll delete the notification for certain videos of the comments. Like I won't even try to read the comment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because I'm like,
Just
I
yeah.
can't. I don't
Right.
have the capacity to deal with like people's hate and projection. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, obviously you got some other issues there, buddy. If you like let this 20-second video make you that angry that you can't let tag me,
Yeah.
So
Do you feel like you get a lot of hate on your being a person, a part of the queer community too, on your social media?
At first, I would get a lot of it comments. What is it? What is it? A boy, a girl? Like, what is it? And they would like call me it a lot. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like,
Ah.
what? And like honestly, it made me like a lot of myself, truthfully. And like that's why in the beginning I was like, you can call me they. It doesn't matter because back then I used to like take things more personal, and now I've like learned to more like embrace that I do have more like a feminine and masculine, feminine.
Hey, we're gonna create that word. I love it.
But yeah, like I've learned to embrace the fact that I am feminine and masculine, and I don't have to just be one or the other, and the duality of things is beautiful. And I'm learning to embrace that because, like I said, the it thing was getting to me, and it almost
Hmm.
caused like a gender dysphoria almost because like I was uncomfortable in my body or who I was, and like like I'm like I didn't know. I'm like I'm not.
Yeah.
It just made it really difficult. Like really, like I had to learn to accept myself for who I am
Right.
and be like, like I gotta love myself for who I am. And truthfully, like I've done a lot of this work for myself since my divorce as well, and it's helped a lot. Like just pouring into myself and being
Hmm.
able to be like, you are who you are, Laura. You have to accept yourself before like you can expect people online to accept you or anything else.
Hmm.
Like you can't let these bullies like get to you where they're tearing you down. And then I'm like, another thing that's helped me a lot when it comes to making videos and stuff like that is like, if I get 20 hate comments today, tomorrow someone might write me a message saying that my videos helped them, or they
Right.
came out because of something I said, or and that will give me strength to like ignore these 20 or 30 haters, like that one person who's like opening up to me or sharing their story with me, or tells me that I gave them courage to do something. And so that also has been like something that I combat all that hate with.
Hmm. Yeah, because like we were just talking about earlier, the representation that you're showing on like your social media and stuff, like the queer people of color representation
Yeah.
specifically, like that's what Queen Talk is about. Just like seeing more of it. Others need to see it. And just like your story that you're going through, just like finding yourself like with these comments. So it's like it's kind of hard to find yourself when you don't see anybody that looks like you or anything like growing up. So
Yeah, and I'm very thankful because for a while my TikTok shifted when George Floyd happened. Like it became very like Black Lives Matter and very like I was like so then I dealt with a lot of racism on TikTok because of that. And which honestly I stopped making a lot of those videos. Well, I stopped as a whole because that drained me because it was like the constant racist hate.
right, yeah.
But it made it to where I connected with a lot of people, because a lot of the people that I talked to, and a lot of them have gotten big on TikTok. And so like their videos and what they talk about, it's like kind of like you can't be pro Black Lives Matter and be homophobic type. And that topic in itself upsets a lot of people, but it is a thing. And so like their videos were very educational to me too. And it helped me connect with a lot of like-minded people, a lot of people of color, a lot of queer people. I have like I'm so thankful that I have like so many like queer people of color on my TikTok who are mutuals with me. Like and it might be like my content and then like the fact that I've been using it for so long.
Hmm.
And but it is good to like what you said, put ourselves out there and build that community, like have a safe space for people who can like connect with these things because it is hard, it is tricky, and like I guess everyone just wants to feel a sense of community or feel acceptance.
Hmm.
So having like a safe space on TikTok to provide that for certain people, I think is good.
Yeah, and I don't think it just like creates it for other people. Like Queen Talk doesn't just create a safe for other people. It creates a safe space for me too, just to like connect with you and just like the other guests on my podcast and know like I'm not alone. You're not alone. Like we're all like going through these transitions in our life and just like trying to figure out and just like want to just be accepted for who we are without like getting all the hatred that comes our way, being marginalized within a marginalized, sometimes within a marginalized group. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just it just can become a lot. So
yeah.
yeah, I hear
It's
you.
it's crazy how like we're actually very close to each other too,
I know, right? I know we are definitely gonna catch up in
dude.
person. Like I
Yeah.
because when I hit you up, I didn't even know you were that close until you filled out the form, and I was like, wait, you right down the street. You right down the street. Yeah. That's pretty dope. Um, we didn't really get into it though much, but I wanted to talk about just like you said previously that you dated girls in high school, and
Mhm.
so you've came out like at a young age with like your family and stuff too?
Yeah, so like I always used to joke and say I didn't come out, I got dragged out of the closet,
Okay.
which was not like pleasant, but I've grown to like just embrace my story. Because back then, this was like 20 years ago. And just like the way dating and everything was so different. So my first girlfriend used to write a lot of poems for me, like a lot of poems. And actually, like,
That's
we,
cute. That's cute.
yeah, no, her poems were great, actually. I was kind of upset. That's the only thing I wanted to say when I went to the military and my mom moved and left it behind, and I was just like, that's the only thing I wanted to save. Like, I was gonna see if I could like publish some of. I was gonna get her permission and like make a book because her poems were amazing. And I saved them, like, for years after, like. But anyways, like, um, yeah. So she would write poems and stuff, and then we would talk on the house phone, and
The
like,
house. My grandma
yeah,
still
and
has one of those.
really,
Yes, she
I had
does.
one recently.
Same
Actually, I had
number.
one.
Same
Dang.
number since I've been in kindergarten. Ain't changed.
That's crazy. My dad actually kept that same house phone with the same phone number up until probably like 10 years ago when he moved houses. And it might not even have been 10 years ago. It might have been less time than that. So
Yeah.
I can see that. Like, I can see that.
Yeah.
But they they overheard some conversations of my first girlfriend and I on the house phone. Nosy parents not giving us any privacy.
Mm-mm.
And so
You know they got two
my
or three
dad and
phones
his
in
wife,
there. Hey, pick up
yep,
the line, put that on mute.
they're like, "Ooh, what's happening here?" So like, yeah, so I got caught, and it was bad. Honestly, it was really bad. Like, I feel like my entire first girlfriend and I, like, besides that relationship just being horrible, like, once, yeah, like, um, it was just bad. But besides us, like, it being a bad relationship, like, it was just bad the way, like, it was with my parents, and my mom worked at a church back then. So like, and I'm a mommy's girl, so like my mom was very conflicted for a very long time. But now they accept me. I remember when I was in my 20s, I tried dating a guy, and that was very toxic as well. And after me and him broke up, I remember my dad, and he's a very old school Mexican man. Like his dad is from the late 1800s. Like my grandfather. My grandma was from 1916. So like they're old school Mexican people. And so like I remember my dad after I broke up with this guy, he was like, I'm glad that you're not with him anymore. I like the way you look and the way your happiness is when you're with the woman. And I was just like,
Oh,
what? That like, okay, like,
that's
I was
dope.
like, all right.
That's nice reassurance. That's nice. How long did it take for you to get there though? Like you said in high school, so till you were 20, so it took some years.
Like when I was in the army was when my dad started to like somewhat accept me. And then like in high school I had two different girlfriends. So I had my first girlfriend, and then I had the one that I was dating when I went to the army. And like my first girlfriend, like I said, she was toxic. Like she cheated on me and would like hit me and be very abusive. So I feel like learning to accept me being gay and then learning to accept me not being loved properly was like not a good thing. So like
Mm-hmm.
it was just hard for everyone. So like by the time I dated the second girl, she was like a very chill person. Like
Yeah.
she didn't really like yell or, like wasn't about drama or anything like that. So I feel like when I started to date her, my parents kind of started to like learn to accept me a little bit. And then when I went to the military, that's when I feel like they're full on support. And they were probably like, we might not see Laura again. Like we got to support her. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
how did you guys navigate that? How did you navigate that while still pursuing these women while you know your family is not accepting, especially at a young age when you're still living with them?
Yes. So like I'm telling you, my first girlfriend, it was really toxic, but like we didn't come out for a while. And so, you know, her parents found out after my parents because of my parents. So like I used to go to her house a lot, and her mom and dad like loved me, like absolutely loved me. And so um I would just like sneak out a lot and be at her house because her parents loved me. And I remember at one point like my dad very aggressively removing me from their house, and the parents were like, do we need to adopt Laura, like, and then he's like, they're fucking gay. And then like then her parents are like, wait, what? Like we they were friends, so like it was just like like, oh. But then like, so my first girlfriend's mom, like she just had like maybe like a couple weeks of confliction, and then she was just like, you know what, Laura, I love you. Like I love my, and now that person is trans, my very first partner. So like their mom is super accepting, you know what I mean? Like their mom took like a week or two to like get their thoughts together and get their emotions right. And then they were like, I love you. Like you're still, I've been saying you're my daughter. Now you're actually like my daughter because you're with my daughter. Like, so
Yeah.
it like that, my first partner's parents really kind of like would give me like a place to be, you know what I mean? Like when it
Okay.
comes to all that.
That's good. So that was like your escape route during that time. It's just like because your partner's family became accepting of it, and that's what got
Yeah.
you through. So,
Yeah.
all right. So your family just never really came to it till you said like you got to the military. And was your family accepting of like your ex-wife, like your wedding and stuff like that? Like they
Yeah.
fully support you now, like 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
And I mean, like I said, I feel like by the time I had my second girlfriend, it had been a couple of years, and like they they kind of accepted me more, and my second girlfriend's parents were also very, very accepting. And by then, like I was working a lot and stuff, so I would like stay with her a lot, like I
Hmm.
had my own vehicle, all this and that. I was in high school, but I was also like acting like I was an adult, you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
and so like by then, like really, my parents didn't really. It's not that they didn't care, but they kind of learned to just be okay with me.
Hmm.
More my mom than anything. Like I said, with my dad, and I've always been more with my mom. They divorced when I was young, so like I feel like my mom learned to like accept me and love me, and like I was always a mommy's girl, so I just feel like because of her working at a church and the way the church is with this whole subject, which that's another subject right there. But so I feel like she just felt very conflicted, not knowing how to like accept me,
Yeah.
and not knowing how to like accept like the religious part of everything and me and loving God, and just that confliction that my mom had. But I feel like she accepted me first, and like as far as like my parents and all that goes.
Hmm. You mentioned just like religion and the church and stuff like that. Or do you have a relationship with God? Are you spiritual?
Yeah, I would say more spiritual than anything. Like
Mm.
I like in the last few years, like I grew up very religious. My mom worked at the church, and then like I had moments on and off where I would go to Christian churches, like Baptist churches. When I was in the army, I started going to a Pentecostal church, and even after the army. So like when I moved back to Kansas City, I didn't have a single pair of pants. All I had was skirts, jean skirts, whatever skirts, dresses, all were dresses and skirts, everything, because I was going to a Pentecostal church. And I feel like I dealt with a lot of self hate because of church and stuff. So I started to kind of like I wanted to kind of like, because I always felt like very spiritual. And so, I started to kind of look more into like, well, you know what? I have a lot of indigenous in me, and we're not even meant to worship this, And so I just started to kind of reroute the way I thought about things. And now it's more like earth, and, like I am thankful, like for, and I do like talk to earth, but like, and like, I don't know, it's definitely not like the Christianity way of
Yeah.
things anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
there's further history than that.
mhm. And you feel like that got you because of just like what is said about you about the religion? Do you feel like that is why?
Um, I feel like that's what started this because, like, I don't know if you've heard of 1946, the movie, but like, it's pretty cool because they like basically, it's like a group of like LGBTQIA people who were religious and had like a lot of self hate and a lot of conflict because of that. And they started to like look into the fact that in 1946, they got a group of people together to interpret the Bible in a bunch of different languages. And they removed the pedophilia and added the homosexuals instead. And so it talks about that. And, you know, I haven't even watched the movie. It's finally out, but like they've just been like showing it in certain places and stuff. Um, but I was like waiting for it to come out for like 2 years when I
Yeah.
first heard about it.
I just had I just looked it up. It's yeah, it came out in 2022, so just a couple years ago. It
Yeah.
says 1946, the mistranslation that shifted culture. Yeah, yeah, but this is my first time hearing about it, so I'll definitely have to check that out. I'm really into documentaries though. I like documentaries.
Yeah, and it took them like almost about 20 years because there's like a bunch of archives that they went through to like really do like their digging and homework and investigating and stuff. And so, but again, like it was hard for me because like when I was going to church, like I have like I'm like, I can walk into a church right now and give a testimony and I'll have everybody to like, praise the Lord, you know, because I've had so many beautiful things happen to me and I've had to teach myself, not teach myself, but kind of like accept, like, okay, maybe it wasn't like the way that I was taught, you know, it's like more of a spiritual thing. And like, you know, like, I don't know if you've seen how people talk about like God being within all of us individually. Like, that's kind of more of like what I feel like we all have, like, it's like more of a spiritual thing. And we're all like energetic beings as well. Like, it's all energy, you know, like, so that's kind of more where I'm at. And I truthfully don't even share this often because of like the stigma and judgment that still comes from that because we're
Hmm.
so like engraved in like religion and like
Yeah,
um you know, so like it's hard for like, this is probably the first time I've actually like publicly just spoken about this like this. I think maybe I was talking about it on my live once. But you know,
yeah.
there's like 10 people watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you're not the only one that feels this way. Um I think just like in general, just like I'll be interested to like watch this movie to really see like what they say because I've just like always been like interested like okay, is what's really like said in it because like I just recently started going back to the church and getting closer with God and stuff. So I don't know the Bible like that. Like I'm not like the one to like throw a scripture out there or anything like that. But just like I just know like spiritually like I am blessed and highly favored and just like feel the connection. So like um I definitely would love to watch that movie and see what it says. So
Yeah, once we hang out, I'll share some of like my experiences when I was going to church.
yeah,
Sweet, you know, like, cause yeah, like like I said, I gave myself like to God completely, like when I was, you know, especially when I was at the at the Pentecostal church, and I still like, I'm still friends with the pastor's um, son and daughter, you
hmm
know, because, and they're very like, they're Pentecostal. That's like a very like strict kind of religion and church and stuff, but they're very like, you know, because for me the thing that used to frustrate me with church was like, because I'm like, if you guys go to the New Testament and you see what Jesus did, like he literally was like, I have one more commandment, like obey my father's commandments, but listen to mine. And it's like love your neighbors. You know what I mean? And like, and I'm like, and they don't do it. Like I feel like I took in a lot of good things from the church and stuff and like the teachings and like, you know, like, and so I love the way I love her. I am the way I am with people because of that. So like, you know, I can't like hate on that because like it taught me a lot of great values as well. Like,
hmm
you know, like how to love people and just how to accept people, not to judge people, helping people, you know,
yeah,
like I've read the Bible. It's been forever, but you know, I have read the Bible. Because like I said, my mom worked at a church for like 20 years.
Yeah, and I mean, you said you were like wearing the skirts, like nothing but the
Hmm.
skirts, and literally like. So, have you always been like? Well, obviously you wore skirts and stuff like that. So, were you always like this masculine presenting growing up? Were you always like that?
Yeah, I've kind of always had like the more masculine energy and stuff,
Mhm.
honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I was very, very athletic growing up, just naturally. Like, I have an older brother, he's just a couple years older than me. And like, we would always fight because, like, back in the 90s, like all the kids would play outside and stuff. So like, um, whenever we would be outside playing like two-hand football or catch or whatever, like I would get picked first. And so my brother would get mad because it would just be like 12 dudes, myself and him, and then I'd be one of the first people because I was so fast and athletic. And so he'd run inside and tell my dad, Laura's being a tomboy, like, and I'd get called inside because I'm being a tomboy and I'm out there with all the boys, like being rough. And, and
Well,
even like
what
in
a
Mexico
hater.
too. Right? Yeah.
How is your guys' relationship now? Like now that like you're out, how has your siblings
Not.
been?
My sister actually, she was like the first person who fully accepted me right away. And she was like, she wrote me a letter. It was like,
Oh,
P.S. I always knew you were gay. She was like young, like 13, you know what I
uh,
mean? Like she always accepted me. Like yeah, like my younger sister has always, she's got like a rainbow and it says equality tatted on her arm.
oh,
Like she's always been like super, accepting of me, super loving of me. Um, my brother and I, we don't really, like, I feel like, truthfully, I feel like he still hasn't fully accepted me.
yeah.
So it's, there's a lot of machismo and stuff where I'm from in Mexico. So unfortunately, I feel like that does like affect the way people view this.
Hmm.
So
Do you see that from like other family members in your family as well? Do you feel like you get that same energy from them that they're not accepting of you?
um
Just like extended family, like when you go to meeting or reunions or family gatherings and stuff like that.
no, I feel like most of them, because I'm like the clown. I'm like the class clown. When we get together, I'm like just everybody's laughing, this and that. And so like it's like I feel like they enjoy my presence when I do show up because I honestly like did my thing for so long that they're like, I wonder if Laura's gonna come. So like when
Mhm.
I do show up, they're like, oh, Laura's here, like, and so they accept me and they're loving with me. And I lost my grandmother when I was deployed, and so I told you she was older. She was from 1916. So like when she was in her 30s, what was that, 1940s, 1950s, like there's not really pictures of her like that when she was my age. So a lot of like family are like, you look like grandma, like my older
Mhm.
cousins and stuff. Because my dad's in his 70s and he's the youngest of his siblings. So my cousin's age range is like crazy.
Yeah,
So I have like cousins who are like 50 or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, huge
and
family.
yeah. And so I feel like most of them all really do accept me, and especially like
Good.
after we lost our grandma, like they were all like, Laura looks like grandma, like she's the only one and we don't have pictures of grandma. So like it made it to where like people were like, we just want Laura around because she's like grandma. And so like I was like, bet that's cool with me.
That's dope. That's
So
good. That's always good to like be able to go to a family function and not have to worry about like extended family, like when you bring partner and stuff around.
yeah.
So that's always good. And so you don't have any kids, right?
No, my ex has um two daughters, but one of them's 18 and one of them's 15. So like, like um the 15-year-old keeps getting her phone taken. So like we would be in touch at the beginning of the divorce. And I saw her recently. I took her to the lake with me because I have a paddleboard. So cool. And so like, I love nature and she's into that stuff too. And so I've been wanting to see her for a while, and they're going to be moving. My ex and her are moving out of the state, and so we finally like talk to my ex, so I could see her. And we kind of both talked because she's 15, so she's a little bit older. We kind of both talked about like, like, hey, this might be like our last time hanging out and seeing each other for a while, but I told her like, you're you're getting older, and like once you're older, like it's your choice who you want to keep in your life or what you want to do. Like right now, you do have to respect your mom and her rules, and all of whatever the situation is. Like don't go looking for extra drama or anything like that, so
Yeah.
um it was tricky for sure, like mainly with her went through this divorce, but the 18-year-old's already, like I said, she's in Texas, already out of school, like, just doing her own thing. So
Yeah. That would be difficult though. Just like, I mean, 7
yeah.
years of their life. So, um, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah. We rushed. We were together 8 years, married 7.
Oh, dang. So, you single and ready to mingle now, or what? You ready to put your tagline out here? Give your pickup line, Lotta. Give your pickup line.
I've no, I'm, I'm like getting to know someone, and I like how slowly I've been doing everything because I'm still also doing the work for myself,
Right. Yeah.
because I know it's like still fresh, it's barely going to be a year that I moved out. And so it's still like everything's still fresh. So I'm not ready to like full blown, like obviously, like, but the way this person and I have been talking and like learning each other and stuff, I'm really enjoying this, truthfully.
Good.
So
Good. That's dope. I hope it works out for you then. Like,
thank you.
looking for love out here can be hard, you know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You gotta find them at the right places and get when you get up there in age, it's like, okay, have you dealt with your trauma? That's have you dealt with your trauma? Are you in therapy? Are you what you got going on? So
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
for
for
you
sure. And
moving
even
on.
Yeah, and even that, like, I feel like I still have to do a lot more therapy because I've done it on and off. And that's what when you asked about the VA, like even that, like I keep putting it off. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the VA tomorrow. I'm gonna go next week.
I be doing that sometimes. I be doing that sometimes with stuff. It's like,
My work schedule really does for a lot of things though, because like I said, I work grades and like I'm off Monday and Tuesday nights, but like I'm getting off of working all night Sunday, and sometimes Sundays is when we move the machine. So I'm physically like active, and then so I sleep all day Monday. You know what I mean? So then it's
uh,
like I have Tuesday, and then it's like, do I want to socialize or do I want to go get adult stuff done? Do I need to go see my mom or do I need to, So
yeah,
it's
y'all that them that work that shift are different. Like
yeah,
that's a different breed. I can't
yeah,
do that. I can't do that at
yeah.
all. It's a different breed.
Once, yeah, I feel like once I'm back from LA with this snow concert that I'm going to in October, I'm definitely gonna have to make some changes in my life because it's also not good for like I feel like it's not good for your mental health like working those hours. And I'm a morning person, I'm like, wake me up at 5 a.m. please, let's
Yeah,
go watch the sunrise, like, you know what I mean? And like getting out
yeah,
at work at 5:30 in the morning is like, oh.
yeah,
Like,
definitely not. So you're going to Snuller Product in October. Is that's the last one of the year for you? Is that her
yeah,
last
that's the
tour?
last one. Yeah,
Uh,
that's her last show and her tour.
that's gonna be lit. I know you're gonna have a
Yeah.
great time.
Yes. I
Um,
did. I went last year.
amazing. Lotta, what would you like to leave the audience with today?
um just learn to love yourself. Really learn to love yourself. And I feel like once you start learning to love yourself, then like the right things will fall into place. The right people will come to your life. You'll attract the right things, the right people.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I um I want to thank you for being a part of Queen Talks podcast. Your story, jumping into the military at such a young age. I mean, That's so wild to me. I'm still like just stuck on that. Like they didn't give you a chance to say no. Um, but yeah, just like dealing with that during like the don't ask, don't tell era, and just like having to grow up really quickly, just
Yeah.
entering a job like that and a career like that. Um, and just like the representation that you're giving for this platform, I just appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story and being vulnerable. And was this your first time like sharing your story, or have you done this before? What?
Um, yeah, no, I did a different style. Like I did a podcast, but with like a Chicana, and it was like focused on different types of things. So this is like my first time ever doing anything like this.
Okay. Dope, dope. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story. And hopefully, audience, you guys loved it. You learned something. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, that like button, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this episode. But as always, family, friends, strangers, love. Be nice.